And welcome everyone to this week's Chamber Live event. We're running a little bit earlier than normal, 1:30 start instead of 2 o'clock. But we just had to shuffle a few things around for our guest speakers today, which is all well and good. It's been another busy week. Yesterday we had the Chancellor's statement, quick update on the next stage of recovery and some things around that. Obviously, furlough's definitely going to be coming to an end at October. Announcements around funding for apprenticeships, and we're going to be keeping our eye very closely on what that looks like and making sure that whatever is announced works for businesses right across Greater Manchester. If you've never been on one of these calls before, what it is, it's quite simply, it's 30 minutes. We're not going to run it any longer than that, so it's quite fast-paced, quite fast-moving. We've got a variety of speakers and people from different departments and parts of the Chamber to explain a little bit more about what they do and what we do as a Chamber, and also update you with all the latest news. We are recording this, and what we'll be doing afterwards, we'll be uploading it onto our YouTube channel so people can also access it that way. And if you have got any questions, put them in the chat box and we'll pick them up as and when we go through. But we usually tend to find there's not a huge amount of time for questions, so we may answer those as we go through the actual event. What I'd like to do first of all, though, is thank Avoira for supporting today's Chamber Live. And we've got Nick joining us from Avoira. He just wants to give us a little bit of a talk about heat cameras. And Nick, this is something that obviously, as we've been through this pandemic, a lot of people now are beginning to look at things like this for moving back in the office. If you just explain what Avoira are doing around this and why these are so important.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Chris. So yeah, I mean, we understand that businesses need to get back to normal, and we based on part of what we do is sell UC telephony equipment, and the board were kicking themselves really, because if they'd have bought £1 million worth of headsets before Covid-19 kicked in, then we'd all be on holiday and enjoying ourselves now. But of course we didn't do that. But what we did commit to is investing quite heavily in some heat detection kit for exactly this reason. And what the aim is to get people back to work and businesses earning money as soon as they can. And that's what we're seeing a lot of really, and especially in retail and in education, we've had quite a lot of success. And we recently did an article on the kit that we've introduced to Albert Schloss in Manchester.
Right, yeah.
And really, it was just about getting people back to normal, getting businesses, getting people putting money behind the bar, if you like, and spending to get businesses back to where they were before COVID kicked in.
Yeah, and I think it's that important because I've been on a call earlier this morning and saying, this. What we're in now at the present moment in time, with the stage reopening and the pubs are back open and more people going back into offices, this feels like this is now going to be with us for some time to come, how we are currently working. And obviously what the piece of kit that you can provide is an important part of that, and making people feel safe.
Yeah, absolutely. And the one thing that we did agree is that people haven't got stacks of cash right now because of the situation that they're in. So we've made it quite easy for them to consider these with a pay monthly option.
Okay.
We're mindful of that, particularly we're speaking to a number of businesses and people who've been on furlough, and maybe business has been a little bit slow, and we're talking about another sort of like slip in economy. But we came up with a plan whereby people needed these to get people back into work and to start generating business, then we'd offer them a competitive price and an easier to afford solution for them.
Okay, that's great. And if people need to contact you, if you share your details after this call, we send an email out, and we're quite happy for people to contact you.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a great team here, and we've got some really good knowledge of the different solutions we've got, because there are we call them bundles. The top end ones are like the walk-through ones that you see at the airport when when you're walking through to the airport. Yeah. And then we've got some really basic handheld ones, and what we can do, we can offer the full service. We can survey site, and we can really tell or advise of what solution is best for them.
Brilliant, that's great. Thanks very much for that, Nick. And I just want to bring in Nathan now, who's our General Manager at Chamber Space, and he was on the call 2 or 3 weeks ago, I think, Nathan, just explaining a little bit of where things currently are and where we see reopening. And we've actually got the heat detection kits in place, haven't we, at the Chamber's offices?
We have, yes, and it's made quite a difference, really. I don't know. I've had the enjoyable task of making the building COVID secure and thinking about how we get people back into the building safely. And at the start of that process, like anyone else, I imagine, in business, just absolutely bombarded with emails and calls about essential products that will really put your business above other businesses and allow people to re-enter the building. So we've gone through the process of the government, following the government guidance, all the cleaning, the sanitising, the signage, all that sort of stuff. But you still have a real predicament that people don't have that sort of feeling or perception of safety. And one thing that the camera coming into the building has done for staff entering the building, it's just given that extra level. So people really notice it. It reminds them, I don't know, you might see this when you reopen, but although there's a pandemic going on, a lot of people, when they enter the building, really act like there isn't. And one thing that camera does is, in quite an interesting way, is remind people that there is a pandemic coming. In terms of conversion of business. So we are now getting inquiries in for future bookings when we're allowed to reopen. And since we've been able to add the thermal imaging camera to our offer, our COVID secure offer, we've definitely seen an increase in conversions, and also the feedback from agents and clients and customers has been really, really positive. The whole process has been great. Avoira came in, they sort of assessed the site. It took less than half a day to install, and it's fantastic. I couldn't recommend it enough. It'll make a really big difference for us as a hospitality business, as well as the Chamber.
That's super. Thanks very much for that, Nathan. I think it's important what you said there about that physical reminder, that this is still a pandemic, and in all the headlines of pubs reopening and one thing or another, I think it can be quite easy to forget some of that, that this hasn't gone away. And like I said, it's that sharp reminder there, but also as well that level of confidence and security, which is so important as well. So thanks very much for that, Nathan and Nick. Right, our next guest today, and again we're doing things slightly different this week, and we're going beyond just the staff that work here at the Chamber. And I'm really pleased that we're joined by Robin Phillips, who is the Chamber President. And Robin, I just want to ask you a very quick question to start with. Just tell us a little bit about your day job, really, because obviously a lot of people see you at events and one thing or another with the Chamber, but just a little bit about your day job and your career as well so far.
That's Chris. Sorry, I just turned the camera off because I just had an omelette delivered to the right of me. Thanks. Yeah, I'm delighted, by the way, to take part in this event. So, in terms of my day job, and technically, I'm heading up what's known now as we've just rebranded ourselves actually as Siemens Advanta Consulting. We've been doing this now. I've been doing this now for a couple of 2.5 years or so. Before that, I was a finance director of the Siemens Digital Industries business, and just before that, I was a CFO of the finance director of the Siemens Industry business, which was everything from the rail business through to trains through to light bulbs, basically. So we had the Osram business at the time, which was light bulbs, and also steel manufacturing, building automation, the whole gamut of Siemens industrial core, really. So that's the kind of recent past. In terms of my career, I joined Siemens as a graduate trainee. So I did a degree in European business at Trent Polytechnic, as it was called then. It's now, I think, Nottingham Trent Metropolitan University now, but it was Trent Poly in my day. And I did that because there was a year abroad being offered as part of the course. So through that, I basically studied and worked in Germany and learned my German. So that's been really that key. And when my dad showed me a piece of paper about this course, about this new course that was being put together, that was a life changer for me, because that's defined my career. In terms of my day job at Siemens, I've got a number of day jobs. I wear a number of hats, which is why I don't have much hair. As part of my responsibilities. I'm the business partner for our global digital industries business. So the CFO of that global business is my client, and his direct team, first line team. As I say, I'm heading up the Advanta Consulting. I'm also the site director for our site. So all the stuff you just talked about that Nathan's just gone through is very much what I'm currently wrestling with for our Manchester site. So the stuff that Nick is also talking about there is very much the kind of stuff we're looking at the moment. I'm the City of Manchester sponsor for Siemens, so we have a kind of city account management activity going on. So I'm the Siemens sponsor for that, and also specifically for the University of Manchester as well. So I'm the Siemens sponsor for the University of Manchester. So those are kind of my daytime activities.
And sounds quite a bit on the agenda already, really, and on the to-do list. Obviously, you're chamber president as well. You came into the post last October. It doesn't seem sort of 5 minutes ago. What does that mean to you to be president of the chamber?
I'll tell you what, Chris. I mean, just to be engaged with the chamber to start with, I think, and I think it's now probably 5 years now I've been involved. I'm just delighted to be part of the chamber and involved with the chamber. I just love the energy of the place. Physically, it's uplifting when you walk in. That and also the building, the mixture of the old and the new, and that embedded right in the culture of business within Manchester. I think embedded right in the fabric of commerce within the northwest, not just Manchester, of course. So already delighted to be part of what the chamber does. But then the being president is the icing on the cake, albeit it's an interesting challenge in these times. So I think I must be the most invisible president that the chamber has ever known at the moment because of the COVID-19 situation. But it's events like this that help support the role and help support the activities that I can play a part in. But in a nutshell, delighted to be president of what is a great organisation, adding great value to the region and the country, actually, when you think about it.
Yeah, that's good. And just as a summary, since October, we've had a general election, we've had the formal notification of Brexit, and we've also had the world's latest global pandemic. So not bad for your first 9 months in the role, really.
It's all about timing. Yeah,
absolutely. I think you're going for the record for the most eventful presidency ever. I think actually you've already got it 9 months into the role, but that's another issue.
Yeah.
I mean, that in itself, I know it's easy when you look back and you think, wow, blimey, that's busy. But obviously this is very important because one of the things, and I know you're really passionate about this, is this idea of campaigning on behalf of business and getting things better. And obviously your campaign is very much centred around that connectivity and innovation bit. Yeah. Where do you see that fitting now within, the world that we're in at present with COVID-19? Because it's very easy to say, oh, let's forget all that and concentrate on what needs doing. But it's so important we don't forget anything at this time.
Oh, God, no, I absolutely think it's even more important now. I think that whole topic of connectivity and innovation for growth, and what there's no more need now than there has been ever for that to be true and for that to be worked upon. If it's just on the connectivity bit, I think the COVID situation has just shown us that connecting people together can bring so much, and then bringing people together can bring so much innovation that's really going to help the here and now, but then also the future. And I think building back better for Manchester is all about bringing people together to think about doing things differently. We've been sort of forced into doing things differently in some respects, but that is an innovation in itself. And so, with COVID and getting through COVID and building back and getting business and commerce up and running again, is vitally important. So that connectivity bit is essential, as is the innovation, because connecting people together brings innovation. And let's not forget we got the B word ahead of us as well, so and it's so important, and particularly with the chamber being made up primarily of small to medium-sized entities, which are the bedrock of the UK economy. We have to be doing everything together to help those SMEs thrive and prosper in this challenging world. And what better way to do it than connecting them together with the right people, the right resources to get that innovation to help them grow.
Okay, brilliant. And final question really is let's look at sort of 6 months, 12 months further down the line and things that may not happen. How do you see the chamber role and your role as well playing a part in whatever comes over the next 6 months or so?
Yeah, well, I think I really can see the chamber playing a real role in front and centre of this quest to build back better for the city and the city region. I think I think the chamber already is a catalyst, but I think even more so. I think the chamber can be play much more of a catalyst role now in a catalyst for good in terms of what the future might bring. And as I say, with that. Just on the COVID topic, not just on the COVID topic, but then also, with the B word that we're heading towards now, I think the chamber's got so much to offer there. So this catalyst for good, bringing people together to innovate forward. I think the word's catalyst really. I really do see the chambers being a real catalyst for commerce and for regrowth in the region.
Okay, Robin, thank you so much for that. It's great to be able to do this with you because we form a pretty good team when we've got the assembly meetings and things like that. But it's always good to hear from you in other settings and backgrounds as well, really. And I think it's absolutely crucial that you don't become more invisible as this pandemic crisis.
Yeah, and just yesterday, just Monday and Tuesday, just briefly, I talked about the connectivity and innovation topic. It was myself and through Carl Diver at the Manchester Metropolitan University. Carl and so MMU and the VIT, the Vellore Institute of Technology in Chennai in India, ran a two-day virtual conference on Industry 4 and innovation, and I played a small part in kicking that off on 7:30 in the morning on Monday, and we finalised it, we concluded it. Yesterday afternoon at 3:30. So what a fantastic example of international connectivity and innovation, all focused on life improvement and growth. I just leave you with that fantastic example, and that and the chambers played a role in that because myself and Carl and Chris, we're all working together on that very core topic, that very core subject.
That's great. Thank you so much, Robin. That's absolutely superb, and hopefully your lunch hasn't gone too.
I'll just get back to my omelette.
Turn your camera off, and we'll let you.
I'll stay on the call, but I'll just turn the camera off.
Unless somebody's got any questions for him, which I'll just wait till he's put some food in his mouth before. We'll let you come out. Robin, thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. I know you're a very, very, very busy person.
Pleasure. Absolute pleasure. Delighted. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Robin. It's interesting. Robin mentioned a great deal, and again, this is one of the things that he is keen on around this whole sort of international exposure and part of what we do as a chamber. And again, if anybody's been on one of these calls over the last couple of weeks will know that we've heard from a lot of different elements of our international trade team. I'm pleased to say we've got another brand new speaker and person you've probably never heard from before. I mean, I've never heard from before speaking at an event like this, so it's certainly a new one for us. I'd just like to welcome Catherine Hoggett now from our trade team. So Catherine, if you want to unmute yourself and put your video on. Unmute.
Unmute.
There we go. Right, that's fantastic. Catherine, you just want to introduce yourself and say a little bit about your role at the Chamber.
Sure. Well, I've actually been at the Chamber for over 30 years now, all in international trade. At the beginning, I worked doing all the trade seminars and the trade delegations as an apprentice. And then I transferred my skills into the export documentation department, where I took on the role for the ATA Carnes because I found that the most interesting document. Back then, it was mostly dealing with all the bands taking their instruments out to concerts and the catalogue companies taking the clothing out and the camera equipment out on the shoots. But I mean, now the market's opened up loads and there's a variety of clients now that I deal with. And I'm quite proud to just play a part in helping them do things quite easily. So
I just think it's fantastic. And again, there's so much that goes on behind the scenes that people just aren't aware of. That goes on here. You mentioned there about the ATA Carne, and you mentioned that this is something that really sort of grabbed your attention. What is an ATA Carne?
It's like a passport for goods. So it allows businesses, for example, going to a trade show or to see a potential overseas client, to take the products into that country, duty and tax-free for up to a whole year. By using the Carne, it takes away all the hassle of having to complete the paperwork and lodging your duties and taxes at customs borders, and lets you concentrate really on working on those projects, making your sales agreements and do your demonstrations without all the other.
So literally it is just sort of book that just goes through each element of the customs it's already done for. That's how it works, is it?
Yeah, it's like a book of vouchers, the details on a list of your items that you're taking in. You just present it to each entry and exit point at the customs borders. They customs stamp it in and out. You can either present it yourselves if you're hand carrying your stuff, or you can get your agent to do it if it's a freight. So.
Okay, and you mentioned some of the stuff that you were originally working on. Have you got any examples of recent carnets that you've been working on?
Yeah, I mean, various items. You've got your tool boxes, or your scientific equipment, filming equipment. I've just done one for Title Roll Productions on behalf of ITV, where they filmed the documentary £1 Billion Cruises All at Sea. It actually was on last Thursday on ITV. I also did the for ITV the Red Arrows tour in America. So yeah, we've done the yachts for the World Yacht Race. There's various cars, Bentley Motors. We did the Aston Martin racing cars for the Abu Dhabi race last year. So yeah, there's pretty good stuff what you get to see.
Talk about a varied workload there. I think that takes some beating actually on the call today. How easy is it to get one? And what's the process that businesses may need to go through to get a Carne?
And nowadays, very simple. It's all online. So you do your application online. It comes over to the team, and basically we just print it out. You either collect it or we'll post it to you. So it's quite a simple process nowadays. Yeah.
That's absolutely brilliant. Thanks very much, Catherine. Are you at the airport office today?
Yes.
Yeah. So again, something people don't realise is we've also got an office out at Manchester Airport, and obviously that is where obviously a lot of volume of our export documentation work actually goes through there as well. So that's been running throughout the whole period, hasn't it? I think really of the whole pandemic.
Yeah.
So that's brilliant. Thank you very much, Catherine. That's again another sort of lift the cover a little bit on other members of the team, the fantastic team that work here at the Chamber, and also some of the more interesting things that we can deal with as part of the service as well. That's day-to-day work, but as you can see, it just covers a huge amount of different subjects there. Our last speaker today is from membership, and it's Harriet Jackson. Welcome to Chamber Live. You just explain again a little bit about yourself and your role at the Chamber.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for having me here today. So, as Chris mentioned, my name's Harriet, and I'm one of the account managers here at the Chamber. My main role involves looking after our members, listening and responding to their various issues and concerns, and acting as their main point of contact within our organisation. To put it short, ultimately my aim is to respond to business needs and align them with the services that the Chamber can provide to help them achieve their goals. This could involve helping them with marketing new products, growing their network with businesses across Greater Manchester, or escalating their concerns that then we can feed this back to government.
Okay, so you're right at the front end, aren't you? And the sharp end of that with members and business, so which is absolutely superb. one of the things we've launched recently is the My GMCR app, and I'm just wondering if you could just explain a little bit for people on the call and maybe watching this on YouTube as well about this, because this is quite a fundamentally important new development we've put in place, isn't it? So what is the app about?
Yeah, of course. So recently the Chamber became a little bit more tech savvy and we launched our new rewards app, and this replaced our old rewards card. So the platform was created with businesses in mind. It's a reward service which gives businesses the opportunity to promote their products and services whilst also having access to exclusive offers themselves. And if you're not already signed up, it's a really great time to do so, especially in line with many of the hospitality businesses that have been opening up over this past weekend.
Yeah. Okay. And how does it work? What's the actual process, and what are some of the benefits from it?
So members have access to a free business profile, which once they're logged in, they can personalize themselves as they then see fit. You can promote your own offers, news, events, and connect directly to other businesses within the community. You also get access to exclusive offers for GMCC members, meaning it's also a great way to save money. It's really cost saving for some businesses too. It's worth noting actually that the app uses your location to search for offers near you, which is great, obviously, if locality is important to you, or if maybe you're out in another area of GM, you're looking for a bite to eat, you don't know where to go. There may just be a few hospitality or bars or restaurants that have offers on in an area near you.
Okay. How many businesses are signed up for it?
So we currently have 982 registered users on the app, and this is always on the rise, so we're really pushing it at the moment. There are plans in process to add an Eat Out to Help Out button to show all businesses who have opted into the scheme in line with the Chancellor's announcement, and we'll be offering 50% off food during August. Instructions will be added to the app how businesses can add themselves to that, so that's coming up. It's in the pipeline. Hopefully we'll have more information out about that soon enough.
Excellent. That's really good quick turnaround there, obviously in response to the announcement yesterday from the Chancellor. And finally, what sort of offers can businesses put on this? Because obviously it sort of works really well with hospitality, but I presume any business can put other offers on there if they so wish.
Yeah, definitely. So it sounds cliche, but I really think the sky is the limit with it. So the app can be used by most businesses across a wide range of sectors. And some of the examples of the offers that we currently have stretch from language courses, free telecoms health checks. I think there's even free one-to-one consultancy meetings to help you formulate marketing plans. I think with businesses looking towards their recovery plans as we move through the stages of leaving lockdown, it's a great time to really use platforms like the My GMCR app and build them into your own marketing strategy. So now is really the time to reach out, connect with other businesses within your area, and let them know what you have to offer and why they should invest in you.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much for that, Harriet.